All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. We are Ilewe Education, your trusted study abroad partner. We are here to help you with your jackpot process. We're here, anything study abroad, we got you. Like our slogan says, your trusted study abroad partner. So we're here today to learn about undergraduate admissions, especially from the POV of parents, because we've seen that um, a lot of our clients who have moved outside, they're always having issues with um, managing and supporting their kids and all that. So that's why we have said, okay, let's take our time to let you know about undergraduate admissions and the intricacies surrounding it, the do's, the don'ts, and all that. So, if you're just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Leeway Education. Um, we're here to help you move to your dream country. You, your kids, anybody, your friends, anybody. We don't discriminate. We help everybody. So, we'll be hearing from four speakers today. We have four different sessions, four insightful sessions. And please don't run away after this webinar. You will also get to meet with our consultants and have a one-on-one session with them. And then if you have your documents ready, we review your documents on the spot and we begin your process from there. So please don't run away after this webinar. It's going to be short, it's going to be interesting, it's going to be conversational. You get to ask your questions and you get your answers on the spot. And yeah, so let's get into the business of today. So, like I said, Ile Education is Nigeria's premier online platform for students seeking international academic opportunities. So, we're not just what they call travel agents, no, we are consultants. And like I was saying earlier, we're just here to help you. So we help you from the beginning to the end. For you, this is the first aid, this is your first contact with us, and then we help you to the end. And for us, the end is seeing you in your dream country. That's you getting your visa, and then we also help with post arrival support as well. We have redefined the journey from study dream to study permits. Our partnerships with renowned institutions and our comprehensive support services ensure students achieve their dreams seamlessly. So we as Layer Education have partnered with we have over 8,000 in partnerships with universities across Canada, UK, US, and Australia, and um, it's been able to help us and our clients with their transition with ease. Once because of these partnerships, we don't have issues of delayed admission letters or any other issues. Once you select a school, we reach out to the school. If you're qualified, it's a no-brainer. You're getting in there. And when you even get your admission, if there are other issues, tuition and all these other things, we're here to help you. The goal because we have our partnership with these institutions. And we don't just have partnership with universities, we have with other financiers, Passage, and the others and the others. So there's a lot of partnerships, strong partnerships we've built over the years that have helped our students transition to their dream countries. Our services include study abroad consultation. This is something like what we are doing now, and what we'll do after the webinar. College entrance exam support. So your IELTS, your GRE, your SATs, we help you. We support where you need help. Study visa application, school search and admissions, scholarship and funding guide, accommodation assistance. So, like I said, we've been able to build partnerships with different organizations over the years. So for scholarships, for funding, even for accommodation assistance, we have the right people that we can connect you with, and you're going to be sorted. So what makes us different? We have a proven track record of success. So I always tell people you can ask around. We're not a small brand, we're a very popular brand. So if you ask around, I'm very sure in Lagos we can say that we have helped a we have helped somebody in every family in Lagos. I'm very sure in every family in Lagos, we're very sure we helped somebody. So we have a proven track record of success, personalized guidance and support throughout the process. Like I said, it's end to end, from the beginning to the end. We're here for you. No stress, no wahala. Our consultants are readily available at any time. When you call us, we would answer to your query. It's one on one. We don't. It's not a group thing. Each issue will be resolved as it comes. An extensive network of partner schools. I already hammered on that. We have a lot of partners that we've worked with over the years, and we still continue to build more partnerships with other institutions that make the whole process very seamless. And finally, we have experienced and qualified consultants, which you'll be hearing from some of them today. These people are well experienced, they're well learned and fast in this field, and I assure you, you're in safe hands. So, before we get into we hear from the first speaker, I just want to lay down some house rules. All mics remain muted so that there is going to be decorum, no noise, nothing of such. Please only send relevant questions to the chat box, and the third advisor will respond to you. Our advisors are on the call. As you can see, some of them with the name Illyria Education. So they will respond to you. Please do not take any answers from anyone who doesn't have the Illyria Education name on their Zoom username, please, for security purposes. And finally, do not share personal or sensitive information in the chat box. You get to speak with a social advisor after the general session. So, like I said, we do personalized, um, we do personalized meetings, and so you get to meet with our advisors one on one, and so you don't have to put your information in the chat box for everyone to see. Any queries, any issues whatsoever, any questions, just wait till the Q&A session or the breakout session at the end of the webinar, and you will get to meet with a consultant. So, without any further ado, I would like to bring on our first speaker, Chinelo, who will be taking us through understanding the undergraduate study route. Please, Chinelo, you have the floor now. Thank you so much. I'll speak to you guys soon. Chinelo, please.
All right. Thank you very much, Isaac. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our monthly webinar once again. And let's move into the order of the day. Now we have understanding the undergraduate study route. And we all know what undergraduate means, that you just finished secondary school and then you're about to move into the university. So we are basically focusing on the undergraduate students today. Next slide, please. All right. The undergraduate study route is the pathway that allows students to pursue a first degree, such as bachelor's degree, at a university or college abroad after completing secondary school. It typically involves meeting academic entry requirements, demonstrating English language proficiency, and preparing the necessary documents for admission and visa applications. So just like it's very straight to the answer. We've said that bachelor's degree, you're talking of undergraduate, you're talking about bachelor's degree, you're talking about college diploma, more like OND in Nigeria here, or yeah, things or some foundation programs that you can do while you're abroad. Next slide, please. So we have basic requirements: international passports, O-level results, your proof of English language proficiency, then SAT, that is if you're applying for scholarship. I have a colleague that will be speaking on scholarship today, so she would explain more on SAT. Now, for proof of English language, I know many of you will be like, oh, do I have to write IELTS? Your WAEC can serve as that, provided you have up to C6, and some schools will tell you the minimum requirement is C5. So you need to take your English language seriously, and your WAEC results can make you eligible for an English language proficiency waiver in some countries. Next slide, please. Other undergraduate pathway programs, we have number one, foundation or pathway programs, specially designed for students who may not fully meet the direct entry requirements of a university. Once completed, students can smoothly progress into their degree programs. For instance, you may not have all the eligibility to gain the admission, and then for some schools in UK, particularly, they will tell you most of their 4 years degree programs have the foundation pathway, which is 2 terms, some 3 terms, and then you move into the undergraduate, that the bachelor's itself, and that completes your 4 years program. So it's not a bad thing you going with a foundation program. It allows you to transition smoothly into your bachelor's degree program abroad. Then we have diploma to degree pathways. In this pathway, students begin with a diploma program, which is usually more practical and skill focused. After completing the diploma, they can transfer to university to finish their bachelor's degree. Now we have more of this in Canada. When you talk about college diplomas, it's not a bad thing applying for a college diploma. I used to tell people it's in Nigeria that we do look at our certificates to look very, very shallow. But abroad, you can go with a college diploma, then you move into you already have that gives you an international education, and you already have an international certificate which qualifies you for a lot of things internationally and globally. So it's not a bad thing to go with a diploma program, probably because your WAEC results, your result is not so much, is not so high that can gain you a direct bachelor's degree. You can do a diploma and transition into a bachelor's degree program. Next slide, please. Funding. For undergraduate programs in countries such as Canada, the UK, and the USA, tuition fees typically range between $6,000 and $45,000 per year. Depending on the institution and program of study, the exact amount varies based on country, on your chosen country, the specific program, and any scholarship or funding opportunities you may receive. So if you're planning to study in any country, you should have a budget between $6,000 and $45,000. We at Leeway Education will help you get um schools that would fit into your budget, provided your cost of study does not cost so much. Because you cannot want to do something like medical courses and you're expecting 6,000. There are courses that may not give you 6,000, but you can be within 12,000, 13,000, 15,000, and the likes. So it depends. You could get scholarships that would reduce your prices. Even in US, Canada, you could get scholarships that could bring down your tuition fees to the barest minimum for some schools. And we at Leeway Education would help you match to those schools. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. All right, thank you. Application timelines and key intakes. Application timeline, 6 to 18 months before deadline. Then we have key intakes fall, August or September, spring intake for January, summer for May intake. Right now, application for spring intake is open, for summer is open, and then for fall 2026 is also open. So you can start now to start processing so that you have enough time to gather documents, enough time to start your visa application process, and then you have enough time, you get your visa and prepare well to be able to move to your desired country. That's why we said the application time between 6 months to 18 months. Let's say, for instance, your plan is to study in Canada or any country, and then you want to go like September 2026. The best time to start is now because admissions are open. Applications are open to some schools for September intake. And if not opened, you can start now because you may not have all the necessary documents and you're gathering those documents to begin the process. And before the end of September or October, you have started your application. Before January, February, March, you've gotten your visa and you have ample time to prepare for your travel. Next slide, please. All right. Thank you so much. I have my colleague that will be speaking on scholarship and funding options. So I would hand it over to Isaac to introduce our scholarship team member. Thank you so much. And we hope you continue to enjoy the session. If you have questions, you can drop in the chat box and we would also be available for the question and answer time. Also available after the session, the whole session would be in the webinar rooms where you can come, we'll speak to you one-on-one and would explain in details what you need to study abroad. Thank you so much. Over to you, Isaac.
Right, thank you, Chinelo, for that very insightful session. You can see she kept it very short and precise, and I'm very sure we learned a thing or two from there. Like she said, she'll be in the breakout rooms at the end of the session to answer your questions. Whatever you need, she'll be there for you. Without any further ado, let me introduce Oidola. She will be taking us on the scholarship sessions. Chinelo already mentioned and talked about her. But before she comes on, I just want to plead with us. I know we have family members, we have friends who also want to learn a thing or two about this. So please let us inform them that this webinar is ongoing. We'll be here for at least the next hour. So there's a thing or two that they can pick up and learn. And you will be grateful that you do that. Thank you so much. Oinola, you have the floor now.
All right, thank you, Isaac. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. So quickly, without wasting our time, I'll be speaking on scholarship and funding option. So as we all know, in as much as everyone is interested in studying abroad, we have some students and parents that are not so financially buoyant. So scholarship is very important. It's like a very incredible source for financial assistance for both parents and their wards. So today I'll be enlightening us on how we can go about that. Next slide, please. All right, so types of scholarship. Quickly, I will run us through type of scholarship that will be available for us. So we have merit-based scholarship. This is always awarded for academic excellence, as we can see on our screen, leadership, and also for special talents. Merit-based scholarship is actually a very important scholarship. It can be an internal scholarship and it can also be an external scholarship, but it is very compulsory. We note that this scholarship is just for students with excellent academic performance, with leadership skills and special talents. So the school or maybe the body might be interested in students with special talents and also students that portrays leadership skills, maybe present or past. All right, so I will also talk on need-based scholarship. This is designed for students with financial needs. So scholarship, unlike loan, which is always to be returned back, scholarship, as we all know, is a free money. So you don't have to pay back over time. So students that shows financial need and they are not so buoyant to pay for their fees and they would like to travel abroad, this need-based scholarship is always available for them, but it should be noted that it is very important that the students must also have a very good track record, excellent academic, excellence in his academics. We also have institutional scholarship. It is offered directly by the institution, and this also attracts and supports talented students. So this is also called internal scholarship. The internal scholarship is always given by the school. It is not an external scholarship. Most times it is always automatic and sometimes it is always being applied for. So We also have external scholarship, which is provided by students, foundations, non-governmental organization. Example of that is the Fulbright. We have Shebni, we have MasterCard Foundation. So this is always given by external bodies. They can emphasize on African students. They can emphasize on students from a particular area in the world. So it's always to also support students in need. So next slide, please. All right, so how to navigate, how to find legitimate scholarship. So it is very important to stay updated. We at Hilewe Education, a scholarship team, if you trust us with your application, if you trust us to carry out the process for you, you have access to join student groups. You have access to join alumni association. I know alumni is like a student that finished from a particular school. But this association, they also welcome incoming students, whereby they conduct webinar that students will be able to join. Sometimes they state in the webinar adverts that, okay, any student that join will be, we have access to application fee waivers and all. So this would be able to help students with that. Also, it is very important for students to have access to the new letters of the school, so that at least while the application is ongoing, students will be aware of what they are expected to do and all. So Lewe education team will help our students to join the various. So I also have professional guidance here. This is also a very important aspect of finding a legitimate scholarship. So working with experienced advisors like us would also ensure you to save your time, avoid mistake, and we also direct you to automatic opportunities. So because we all know scholarship application is always very rigorous. It's not something very easy. So it takes research, it takes patience, it takes um, directions, and also will also save your time, because we have some parents that will be like, oh, I am working, I might not be able to go through this journey myself. So that is why you have us here. We are very transparent enough to see you through the whole process, and you won't regret trusting your application with us. Next slide, please. All right, so tips for preparing a strong application. So follow instruction carefully, crafting of strong personal statements, show evidence of impact of leadership traits, and get strong recommendation. And most importantly, applying early. So I would talk on the early application, which is very important aspect of scholarship application. It is very important to apply early, because we know that the same scholarship that is being applied for, we have students all over the world applying for the same scholarship. So whereby we have our internal writer, our in-house writers that will help us craft a well-compiled personal statement, which will kind of tell everything about the person, because scholarship application is not just like normal admission whereby you run through the whole process and you submit. If it is not an automatic scholarship, if you have to apply, it is very important you attach statements, scholarship statements, normal statement of purpose, and also, like I mentioned, it is very important to have an evidence of leadership trait. Have you held any leadership position in your school, prefects, in your home church, in your community? Are you joining any community service? Are you joining those that are volunteering? All these traits are very important for scholarships. So I used to tell students that come to me that, oh, they don't have any. I would say, okay, join now, so that in your curriculum vitae, it will show in view Also, it is very important you have good relationship with your former teachers, principals, health teachers, and also for those that I know this webinar is for undergraduates. For our postgraduate students that will be joining us in the breakout room later, it is also very important to have good relationship with your lecturers because they would be able to recommend you to the school. It will be in form of questionnaire and it will be sent directly to the school. Another thing I want to mention for the undergraduate students is the SAT exam. SAT exam is actually is a standardized test and it is very important and it is just designed for the purpose of the scholarship. It is always using, it can be used for any country. It is acceptable in Canada, it is acceptable in UK, and it is always like in form of quantitative and verbal reasoning and also some world current affairs. So anyone that just finish, if you just finish your WAEC, your IGC, your A level, I think you can pass that and you perform wonderfully well. You can pass that. It's always like the normal further mathematics, normal English, antonyms and synonyms because I have gone through some of the past questions. So it is very important and you should know that it is internationally recognized and this is this will ensure let me say guarantee for a scholarship. So and also for students that didn't study in an English country, maybe you studied in Togo, Lomé, all those francophone countries. So you would have to show an evidence of English proficiency. You can go through, maybe you can, okay, we have Duolingo and IELTS. Those are the two acceptable exams that I'm done my students. So we will meet at the breakout room and also during the question and answer section. If you have any question, you can join, you can drop at the chat box. We would have a breakout section. Don't rush out after the webinar. I will also be here to speak extensively once we have our breakout room. So thank you everyone for joining once again. I think I would and I would call on my next colleague. I will call on Isaac to introduce the next speaker to us. Thank you everyone for joining once again. Don't rush out after the webinar. We still have access to talk one-on-one at the breakout session. Thank you. So Isaac, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Inola. Thank you. I'm very sure you all like to hear about scholarship, very juicy, right? Inola is the go-to person. She's our expert scholarship consultant. And she has just taken us through scholarship and funding for undergraduates. So I'll bring up the next speaker, Blessing, who would be taking us on study visa guidance for parents. Blessing, please, you have the floor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our monthly webinar. So very quickly, we'll be talking about the study visa guidance for parents. Next slide, please. Okay, so we'll be taking the Canada, US, UK, and few of the European countries, for example, this morning. And one thing I want us to understand when it comes to student visa is for every country, they all have their own unique study visa processing, which is something you need to be aware of even before you start your processing. So we'll be taking Canada study visa for the first one. So what are the requirements that you need when it comes to you planning to process your student visa? So the first thing you need is a letter of acceptance from a designated learning institution. So a designated learning institution is where you can be able to apply for a postgraduate work permit after your studies. So every school that you apply to has to be a DLI in order for you to apply for a postgraduate work permit, which allows you to stay back in the country. So You need a letter of acceptance from such school. And for every of our partner schools at Ilewe Education, they are DLI affiliated. So the first thing you need is a letter of acceptance. And secondly, you need a proof of fund. So this is like the most important document when it comes to your visa processing. That is your tuition and your living expense. So you need that in a bank statement for the duration of 6 months. So you need your living expense and then your tuition fee, which is what we regard as your proof of funds. So usually for undergraduate students, their parents will stand as sponsors. And for postgraduate students too, it is advisable that for those that have not really been working for a long time, they can use their parents as sponsor. So the next one is the ties to home country. So for every country, visa want to believe that after you are done with your studies, you are coming back to your home country. So you need something that ties you back to your home country. So what are the work benefits of having a Canadian study permit? So as a student, you can work for 20 hours during the term, that is during the session, and you can work full time when it is time for break. So like when you have your semester break, long break, you can work full time as a student. And then there's also post-graduation work opportunity. That is, you get to stay back in the country for as long as 3 years. So it depends on the program you opt for. You can get from 1 year to 3 years post-graduation work permit. So what are the parental rule for Canadian study permit? So the number one thing is ensure financial documents are clear. So what are the financial documents? It could be your assets, the proof of fund, and every other thing that you are using as your financial documents. So you need to make sure that they are clear. And the second thing is the support with GIC. So there's something called guaranteed investment certificate. It's more like a Canadian bank account whereby you can deposit your living expense for your studies. So it's something that actually give you an edge when it comes to your visa approval chance. So it is advised, I mean, for everyone that is coming to us for visa processing in Canada, we always advise that you open a GIC account and you just put your living expense there. Yeah, so that's that for the Canadian study permit. So next slide, please. So now we have the US study visa. So there's a difference between how the Canada study permit and the US study permit works. So for Canada, it's usually digital. So every other thing is going to be a documentation, submit document and all of it. But for the US, you have to appear physically at the embassy. So what do you need? You need an I-20 form from SDVP approved institution. So after you've gotten your offer letter and you've proved your financial status to the school, they will issue you a I-20 form that you will use to schedule your interview and apply for your visa. So you also need a service fee payment. So you need a service fee payment and a visa fee payment, which are the payment that you'll be making for scheduling your appointment. Then the proof of strong financial support, just like I made mention of proof of fund for Canada, you also need that for the US as well. That's something that has your tuition fee and your living expense for a duration of 6 months as well. So you will take that to the embassy when you're going for your interview. And also ties to home country. You need to find something that ties you back to your home country. It could be a business, it could be work, it could be family. You just need something that ties you back to your home country. So what is the work benefits for having a US study visa? So the first one is limited on-campus work. So you get a CPT and then an OPT. So just like we have for Canada, you can as well work for 20 hours per week during session, and you can work full-time during breaks in the US as well. And there is also post-graduation work permit as well. So you get up to 12 months to 3 months, 24 months for the post-graduation work permit. It depends on the program you opt in for. So if you go for a program that is STEM related program, you get up to 24 months to 3 years staying back in the country. And if it is a non-STEM course, you get it 12 months. So STEM courses are usually science, technology, engineering, management, anything related to that is STEM course. So once you're going for any course like that, you get up to 24 to 3 years post-graduation work permit. So what are the parental rules for the US study visa? So we have ensure tuition and living expense proof is solid. So whatever financial document you'll be providing, make sure that it is very solid. Do you get? Make sure that it is very solid. So make sure that that is very solid, and also prepare child for visa interview. So like I said, you for the US study visa, you have to appear in person. You have to go undergo an interview with the visa officer. So you need to prepare for that. And as an immigration consulting firm, you don't have an issue. It is something that we render for students that are preparing for their interview session at the embassy. So we help your child towards, preparing for their visa interview. We help them with possible question and answer, and then mock session as well. So that is that for the US study visa. Next slide, please. So we have the UK student visa. So the first thing you need is a confirmation of acceptance for studies. So you need a confirmation of acceptance for study, which is just like you have I-20 form for the US. So for for UK, you need a confirmation of acceptance for study, which is called CAS, which the school will issue to you after you've gotten your offer and you've made the necessary financial commitment. Then the next is the proof of tuition and maintenance fund. So the proof of tuition, just like we have for US and Canada, we have that for the UK as well, which is your living expense and your tuition fee. The only difference is for UK, unlike US and Canada, that you need a 6-month duration bank statement. For UK, just need a 1 month duration. So you can put your money in there for 1 month. Make sure it is equivalent to whatever it is that the school is requesting from you. And then the last is the English proficiency proof. So as a Nigerian citizen, you will most likely not need it. It will be optional because our courses are taught in English. So a Nigerian student can get a waiver for English test. So that is for the key requirement that you need. Then the work benefits. So you can work up to 20 hours during time and full time during breaks. So there's also post-graduation work opportunity. So for the graduate route, it allows graduate and undergraduate allows 3 years stay back in the country, and for PhD, you can stay back in the country for 3 years. The parental role for the UK student visa: support in paying initial tuition deposit. So after the school have given you admission letter, the next thing is they expect you to commit to their work. You need to pay a certain amount of money as an initial tuition deposit. So then the next is ensure bank statement meets UKVI. So what are those requirements that you need to meet? The duration, the required amount of money that you need. So you want to make sure that it meets that. So that is it for the UK. So next slide, please. So the European student visa, which we all know as Schengen countries. So the first thing you need to get, whatever European country you are applying to, this is the key requirement that you need. So the first thing is the admission letter from an European university. You need an admission letter first. Then you need a proof of fund, just like we mentioned earlier, your tuition fee and your living expenses. And then you also need a proof of accommodation. So unlike the US, Canada, and the UK, that they will not most likely ask you for proof of accommodation, for European universities, they will ask you for proof of accommodation. So you need to submit that as well. And then health insurance, they need your proof of health insurance as well. So that can be gotten here in health organizations here in Nigeria. You can get your health insurance then. So what are the work benefits for having an European student visa? So this actually varies by country. So but usually you get to work as a student for up to 20 hours per week. So this is one of the benefit that you get as a student. Then they also have post-graduation work permit opportunity. So you can, just like you can stay in other country, you can stay in any country in Europe as well for up to 12 months for your post-graduation work permit. So likewise, that also varies by country. It depends on what each country allows for students. So what are the parental roles that we have for European student visa? So support in securing proof of fund and blocked accounts. So the first thing you need to like, or let me say like the major thing that you need to prepare for Europe is also the proof of fund. So usually some country will allow you to, bring a bank statement for 6 months, while some will tell you that they need a blocked account. So the block account is more like you opening an account in that country and then you will deposit the living expenses there. So you will only have access to it once you get to the country. So it's more like a fixed deposit that constitutes, that has your living expenses there. So there are countries that actually, they do that, just like Germany, for an example. So that's what Germany does. And so ensure compliance with health insurance and housing needs. So you want to ensure that there is compliance with your health insurance and housing needs. So next slide, please. So in summary of everything that I have said, so this is just the general parental guidance across all destinations. So it doesn't matter where you are going. So this is one thing that as parents you need to be, you need to prepare for. So the first thing is the emotional support. Studying abroad can be very stressful, yeah, and talking from an agent side, I can tell you that it is very stressful, right from the admission phase to the visa stage, to the approval stage, to the traveling to where you are settling and all of those things. So it can be very stressful for the students. So parents need to be emotionally supportive towards their children, and then financial planning as well. Ensure that timely tuition payments are being made because every school has their own deadline. So you need to make sure that you don't exceed the deadline that they give to you. Then encourage independence, help your child adapt to managing finances, cooking, and self-care. So the last is stay informed, track visa deadlines, renewals, and compliance rules. So I can categorically tell you that you do not have an issue with this because at Leeway Education, we make sure that every step of the way we are there with you and you are also involved. So you don't just commit all the service into our hands and then you are not being briefed or carried along with how everything is going. We make sure that you are involved in every processes that we are making. So thank you very much. If you have any question concerning applying for visa, we'll be seeing in the breakout room. Thank you. Thank you, Isaac.
All right. Thank you, Blessing. Another very insightful session. Thank you so much. I also learned a lot from this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And finally, our final speaker, we'll be bringing on Cynthia to talk on parental role in supporting students abroad. She's also an expert in undergraduate admissions. She's been very helpful in helping at least 100 so far in transitioning to their dream countries. So let's hear from the horse's mouth. Cynthia, please, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to do this session. Thank you for joining this session. So we'll be talking about the role of parents in supporting their children abroad. And this is a topic that is very close to the heart of every family, sending their children abroad. So we know that studying abroad is not just a big step for students, but also for parents as well. And we'll be talking about practical ways which parents can be true partners in their child's success abroad, while also giving them the independence that they need to grow. So number one here, I have emotional support and balanced involvement. We want to be involved in our children's journey overseas, and want to make sure that we're not doing too much and we are not doing little. So it has to be balanced. And that's one of the ways where we can, support our children is to maintain regular communications, regular calls, video chats, or messages, providing reassurance to them and always reminding our children that they are not alone, especially during period when they're trying to adjust to their new environment, and it's also very important to show genuine interest, but also respect privacy and independence. So that's why we need to establish healthy boundaries with our children abroad. We don't want to constantly communicate with them, even with good intentions. Sometimes your child is trying to adjust, and then mommy or daddy is now disturbing them with calls. Where are you? What are you doing? We don't want to bug them too much with a lot of calls. So we try to, maintain balanced involvement in their life. So instead of overwhelming communication, if it's possible, you can just pick out a day to say, oh, let me go and visit my child or my children, and try to go and say hi to them. And also we need to celebrate small achievements, whether big or small, so we can better encourage them more. Next slide, please. Number 2 is financial planning, and which is one of the most practical and impactful ways we can support parents can support their children abroad. We know that studying abroad is not a small money, and it takes a lot. I mean, I give kudos to every parent who make effort to send their children or their child abroad, because it is not easy. And education overseas, starting from tuition, accommodation, their daily living, their living expenses. And sometimes in case of emergencies as well, we parents should try to work with their child to create a realistic budget. You can start by, looking for schools with affordable tuition. Like, okay, this is what I have, £10,000 for your tuition fee, and living expenses is this amount. So you need to create a realistic budget, and that is why we at Leeway Education, we are always ready to work with your budget. Every budget you have, we'll surely get something for you. Reasonable budget though. And also, it is very important to explore financing options, from savings to scholarships to educational loans. And if necessary, be ready to take more steps. For example, like I said, scholarships, and that's why we are at Leeway Education, down to scholarship, down to loans. We are ready, available to attend to your needs. And also, you need to ensure timely payment of tuition fee especially. Sometimes I tell parents, if you want your child to study abroad, ensure you pay at least 70% of their tuition fee. So at least when they are there, to pay the remaining part, it won't be that hard or difficult. Then the student will have to start running elter skelter to balance up. Or if you've paid at least 70%, the remaining 30% would still, it would still give you some time to like work on the remaining 30% and pay up the money. And also, you need to teach your children money management skills, and tell them, manage this, don't overspend. I know you want to like explore, but do it on a very, very minimal level. Don't do too much. So that's it about financial planning and guidance. Number 3, ensure safety and well-being. Ensure safety and well-being of your children. This is a top priority for parents. When your child is no longer with you, you don't have access to your child. Like, you can't just say, I want to enter bus and go and meet my baby. No, it's a top priority. That's why parents should ensure that they have travel and health insurance for their kids, to cover unexpected situations like emergencies, when your child is sick, your child knows how to go about it and to go to the right hospital to get treatment. And it's also equally important to stay updated on travel advisories and visa requirements, as well, policies of the host country where your child is studying. And also, sometimes parents will come and say, oh, I want my child to study in this particular area because I have a sister or a family or a brother or a relative in this area, that so my child can have access to. My child can go there in case there's anything, in case there's emergencies. And also, parents need to also advise their children to follow the host country and universities rules and regulations, to advise them not to go to do risky things or illegal activities, tell them to practice safe habits, responsible socializing with their peers, and also be very, very aware of their surroundings. With these precautions, parents can help their children feel secure and focus fully on their studies. Next slide. The last but not the least here, we have cultural and social adjustment. And cultural and social adjustment is one of the most important parts of a student life abroad. And we parents can play a key role in supporting this process. So we need to encourage the children to be open to diversity, have friends that that keep good friends, yes, and build connections, build network. We need to tell them that don't follow we need to tell them that don't follow bad people. When your friends are into gang stuff, don't do that with them. Follow good friends. But be open to meeting people. Don't say because, oh, I don't like talking to people, I don't like meeting people. I usually used to be like that. I'm like, oh, I don't like talking to people, I don't want to be people. But as time goes on, I started encouraging myself that I need to build connection, right? So I have to start talking to people. So we need to encourage our children to be open and have healthy relationship, have healthy friends, and build rapport and connection. And also encourage your child to step out of their comfort zone. Your child is always, oh, mommy, I like staying on my own, I like staying inside. No, you need to encourage them to step out of their comfort zone. Tell them to try new things, try new food, try their culture. And the adjustments can be very, very easy for them. So we know that we've seen different practical ways in which parents can support their children abroad, and as we have seen also, that parents truly are partners in their child study abroad journey, from offering emotional support, financial guidance, safety, awareness, and encouragement. And like I said in the first point, that we need to make it balanced. Don't do too much as a parent and don't do little. You need to make it balanced so your children can learn to be independent on their own, and not having to call mommy, daddy, I need money, I need this, I need that every time. So we can help them to grow into confident and independent individuals. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time and attention. I hope this session has given you practical insights and reassurance about the important role you play as parents. And that is why we at Layer Education, we are here to gladly attend to your service, so we can help you, from looking for affordable tuition to looking for the best school for your child. Thank you very much, everyone, once again. Isaac, over to you.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. That was a very exciting session. I was wishing I was a parent sending my child abroad because I've learned a lot so far. So we've all heard from the experts. We heard from Chinelo talking about undergraduate admissions, heard from Oinola talking about scholarships, Blessing on understanding the visa process as a parent, and then we've heard from Cynthia talking about how to cater for your kids who are studying abroad. So I would just like to run through our process again, what we will help you do: document submissions, when you send in your academic documents, your transcripts, certificates, and other supporting documents for your admissions. We are here to help you process these admissions. We put your documents together and support your application, basically. When Lola mentioned earlier, we have expert writers who will help you write your essays, um, package you properly and sell you to the school or to the visa office, whatever your essay is for, research proposal, whatever it is, we have you covered. Like Blessing also mentioned, we help with interview preparations. So not every time essay will come into play. Sometimes the school or the visa office will require you to come in or connect virtually, like we're doing right now, and have an interview with them. So we'll prepare you, have various sessions with you, even up until the day of the interview. Ongoing support. Yes, like I mentioned earlier, we offer support even when you have arrived there. We're not just your consultants or it's not just a business for us, it's a partnership, it's a friendship. So our consultants still connect with our previous clients. Whatever you need, you reach out to us, and we'll definitely help you out. So we've come to the end of the general session. You're ready to begin. Take the first step in supporting your child's undergraduate study abroad journey. It can also be you. If you're here for you, you're welcome to stay and meet with our experts, consultants at the end of this session. Share their documents for free eligibility review, and our experts will guide you and your child through the next steps. So we have come to the end of the general session. I have our contact information here. I'll just leave this here for you to see. Please wait a minute while I prepare the breakout rooms. Thank you so much.